November 13th, 2022. 4 university students stabbed to death in Moscow, Idaho, a college town of 25,000. It became one of the most shocking crimes in recent American history, and one question consumed investigators and captivated the world. With few leads and no clear motive, how do you find a killer? The full story begins with 4 lives that were only getting started. Madison Mogen and Kaylee Goncalves grew up together in northern Idaho, their lives closely intertwined from childhood. By their senior year at the University of Idaho, 21-year-old Madison from Coeur d'Alene was a Pi Beta Phi member majoring in marketing and running social media for a local restaurant. Her stepfather, Scott Laramie, later described her as their gift of life, purpose, and hope. Her lifelong friend Kaylee, a Rathdrum native and active member of the Alpha Phi sorority majoring in general studies, possessed a fiery energy and already had a technology job lined up for graduation. Sharing their King Road home was 20-year-old Xana Kernodle, a marketing junior from Post Falls and member of Pi Beta Phi, known for her vibrant, positive presence. Xana was dating Ethan Chapin, a 20-year-old freshman from Mount Vernon, Washington, majoring in sports and tourism management. A triplet alongside siblings Maisie and Hunter, Ethan was a beloved Sigma Chi fraternity member, remembered for his easygoing nature and love of sports. Together they built a typical busy college life in Moscow, surrounded by friends and looking forward to bright futures. On the evening of November 12, 2022, the 4 friends split up for a typical college weekend night. Ethan Chapin and Xana Kernodle attended a social gathering at the Sigma Chi fraternity house. Meanwhile, Madison Mogen and Kaylee Goncalves went downtown to a sports bar called the Corner Club. Publicly documented timeline records reconstruct their return to the off-campus home at 1122 King Road. Ethan and Xana arrived back at approximately 1:45 a.m. Around 1:40 a.m., a local food truck livestream captured Madison and Kaylee ordering food, before a private driver dropped them off at the residence at 1:56 a.m. By 2 a.m., all 4 students, along with surviving roommates Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funker, were inside. Between 2:26 and 2:52 a.m., a series of unanswered calls were logged from Madison and Kaylee's phones to Kaylee's former boyfriend. According to court filings, the attack occurred within a tight window between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. The precise sequence of movements and the exact order of the attacks remain officially unresolved. Hours later, at 11:58 a.m., a 911 call was placed from the phone of one of the surviving roommates, reporting an unconscious person. Arriving Moscow police officers secured the residence and discovered the bodies of the 4 victims. Recognizing the scale of the crime, local police immediately requested assistance from the Idaho State Police and the FBI. In these initial hours, investigators had no identified suspect, marking the beginning of a complex and highly scrutinized investigation. On November 25, 2022, Moscow police publicly requested help locating a white 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra spotted near the King Road residence around the time of the attacks. This alert prompted campus police officers Daniel Tiengo and Curtis Whitman at Washington State University, just miles away in Pullman, to search their database. They located a similar 2015 white Elantra registered to Bryan Kohberger, a criminology PhD student. The car had recently been registered with Washington plates after previously carrying Pennsylvania registration. While this discovery narrowed the inquiry, investigators acknowledged that the vehicle's presence in public footage did not directly identify who was driving it that night. To build on the vehicle connection, authorities obtained search warrants for cellular network data linked to Kohberger's phone. The records revealed that the device connected to cell towers near the victim's neighborhood on at least 12 separate occasions prior to November 13, primarily during the late night and early morning hours. On the night of the killings, the phone stopped reporting to the network at 2:47 a.m., re-establishing its connection at 4:48 a.m. The prosecution interpreted this period of unavailability as a conscious effort to conceal location data during the crime. Conversely, the defense disputed the precision of this geographic tracking, emphasizing that cell tower pings only establish general regional proximity and cannot prove a suspect's presence at a specific address or confirm any physical action. Inside the King Road home, investigators recovered a tan leather carbine knife sheath on the bed next to Madison Mogen. According to the unsealed probable cause affidavit, forensic analysts at the Idaho State Lab extracted a single source of male DNA from the metal button snap of that sheath. To identify the source, the FBI used investigative genetic genealogy, uploading the forensic profile to public databases to trace distant family branches. This process led authorities to a household in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. Under cover of darkness, law enforcement retrieved discarded trash from outside the Kohberger family residence. Testing on that material revealed a DNA profile highly consistent with the biological father of the suspect. Following Kohberger's arrest, a direct cheek swab confirmed a match. But in a court of law, a forensic match is not an absolute verdict. It is a piece of science subject to intense legal rules. The defense has questioned the handling of this biological material, emphasizing that the collection, storage, and chain of custody must be flawless to be admissible. They argue that investigative genetic genealogy is an emerging technique that requires rigorous scientific validation to prevent errors. The public release of the redacted probable cause affidavit in January 2023 laid out these physical and genetic connections for the first time. These records moved the case from an active street investigation into a structured courtroom environment where every swab and database search faces strict legal scrutiny. On December 30th, 2022, Pennsylvania State Police and the FBI arrested 28-year-old Bryan Kohberger at his family's home in Albrightsville. Held without bond, the defendant waived his right to contest extradition on January 3rd, 2023, allowing law enforcement to transport him back to Idaho. The initial charging documents filed in Latter County listed 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of felony burglary. Legally, these charges stood as allegations, not findings of guilt. In May 2023, a grand jury returned an indictment, officially setting the legal parameters for the prosecution. At his subsequent arraignment, Kohberger stood silent when asked for his plea. Adhering to standard court rules, the judge entered a not guilty plea on his behalf. This move placed the responsibility entirely on prosecutors to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt, as both sides initiated months of intense pretrial work, reviewing thousands of pages of discovery and forensic files. Defense attorneys launched challenges against the state's key evidence, filing motions to suppress the DNA collected from the trash in Pennsylvania, the cell tower records, and the digital data. These filings framed the disputes around constitutional rights and scientific reliability, rather than direct questions of guilt. Meanwhile, a strict non-dissemination order restricted public comment, sparking legal battles with news organizations seeking access to the files. While early filings indicated prosecutors initially intended to seek the death penalty, the case remains subject to evolving legal maneuvers. Court documents indicate a potential shift in the legal posture, with reports suggesting a resolution that would avoid a trial. The final disposition and any potential sentencing details await absolute confirmation on the official court docket. No motive has ever been established in the official record, leaving only the tragic loss of 4 young lives that continues to hold the attention of a quiet college town and a global audience. Beyond the forensic debates, the true weight of this tragedy remains in 4 empty chairs. For Moscow, healing is a quiet daily choice, a promise to remember Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan. Subscribe to join us as we continue honoring their memory.